This is Grapplers Talk.
What is up, fans of Grapplers Talk? This is Dave coming at you with another episode each and every week. Thank you to the fans for downloading, supporting, and being a part of this cause at Grapplers Talk. We appreciate all the love and support we get out there. And we're always trying to provide the best interviews, the best conversations. It's something I never thought would happen, and having a platform that I get to talk to all these local grapplers and grapplers all over the country at this point, just about different things and getting to know them and getting to explore the art a little bit more is just a pleasure and an honor to bring to you guys. But I'm excited to have our guest on this week. I've been talking to this gentleman for a little while now, ever since the podcast first started. And I've been wanting to get him on and talk about him. You see him a lot in the competition scene. You see him around. He's always repping his brand, YJSS. YJJS. I'm dyslexic to an extent, so I knew I was going to mess that one up. But I'm welcome by none other than Andre Kim, man. What is up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on? I'm happy to be here, finally getting this done.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. I'm really thrilled to talk to you a little bit more. But I'm excited to find out a little bit more. I always like to hear the root story, right? And I want to find out how you got introduced into jiu-jitsu. What was the reasoning why you wanted to train in martial arts and kind of the whole background? What was that first training experience like?
Yeah, so I did Taekwondo when I was younger, probably up until about 18. Went through a period where I wasn't doing any martial arts. And then as you got older, obviously I was just like, I want to go back into martial arts. At first, I wasn't really looking at jiu-jitsu. I was looking at maybe Muay Thai.
Okay.
And then it just made sense to go to jiu-jitsu. I've never done a grappling sport. Didn't do wrestling or any of that in high school. So then I just went into jiu-jitsu. Been training about 9 years now.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, under Charles Gracie in Fremont. And then it's just been great ever since. The first maybe 2-3 years weren't so great.
Yeah.
At that time, I was maybe 130 pounds. No grappling experience.
Oh, yeah. Getting worked, huh?
Getting worked. Everybody's bigger than me. Everybody's got grappling experience.
Yeah. What made you go back?
Just I was at a point in my life where, I didn't like being inactive. I wasn't doing anything physical, just work, and then I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want, but I felt like I needed to do more with my life. So I went back to martial arts, and it's a funny story because I think I want to say sometime after my blue belt, my old Taekwondo instructor got his black belt under Charles.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a full circle moment. We kind of met each other again in the martial arts world.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's interesting how that happens. But coming from a traditional martial arts background, like going to jiu-jitsu, it's a little bit different, right? There's not as much bowing. There's no katas, and the sparring portion or the rolling portion is a little bit different as well. Did it throw you off a little bit going to jiu-jitsu, kind of seeing the difference in the type of martial art it was?
100%. I had no clue what I was doing. I was getting smashed. I was getting submitted. Again, I was 130 pounds at the time. I just stuck with it. There was moments where maybe I wanted to quit. A big part of that reason why I didn't is I want to say we went through a change in coaches about 2 years in, and he was not too much heavier than me at that time. Made me very technical. Kind of brought me into the teaching aspect of jiu-jitsu, very technical approach to jiu-jitsu. Started seeing a lot of improvement there. I want to say late blue belt, I saw a biggest jump in improvement.
Yeah.
And then started winning competitions. Purple belt. It comes in waves. But things of that nature. He was very instrumental in bringing me up, making me stick with jiu-jitsu, making it a big part of my life. He's still my coach, of course. But I'm also able to branch off within the Charles Gracie network and train at other Charles Gracie locations as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of Charles Gracie academies, affiliates all over the country. So Having a big network like that, a big core group of guys to train with is very valuable. But let's talk a little bit more about the experience with Charles Gracie. Like, did you compete at white belt much, or did you really start getting into the competitive scene like later on?
I always knew I wanted to compete. It was just a matter of when. So I did it at white belt. It wasn't that great of experience. I think my first white belt tournament, I got guillotined right away. Second one wasn't that much better. Again, I didn't really hit my stride until maybe blue. I want to say I started doing a lot of spider guard, right? Traditionally on the gi first.
Yeah.
A lot of lasso, triangles still in my arsenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been competing a lot more. I want to say at purple belt. That's when I started doing the art suaves. That's when I started doing the super matches. And I've just been competing since,
Yeah. Tell me what goes on in your mind when you're in a competition. Like, what's going through your head? Are there a lot of nerves? Are you kind of cool, calm, and collected till you walk out? Like, what's all playing out in your head while you're competing?
Everything. No, I used to get really bad adrenaline dumps. I will not lie. To the point where, like, after the competition, regardless of the result, I would get headaches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really bad. That went away with time. Right. I'm fortunate enough to have a strong support group or group of people. So that does help a lot, in terms of getting ready for a competition. The nerves still kind of there, but not too much. The adrenaline dumps are gone.
Yeah.
Which is good. Just, being able to handle the outcome.
Right.
Right.
Accept it either way, right?
Right. It's not the match I'm afraid of. It's the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
That's what changed things for me, right? It's like, no, you're not afraid of this guy.
Yeah.
He does jiu-jitsu, you do jiu-jitsu. It's just like rolling around
Just
in
like
the
you
training
do
room.
every day, yeah.
You're afraid of the outcome of taking that L, or, you're not going to get the win, and what's going to happen next.
Right.
Right. Or it's a reflection of your jiu-jitsu. But it's not. I mean, it is in a sense, but it's
to an extent, yeah.
not as much as you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we live in a game where you may beat me in one tournament and I'm going to turn around and beat you in the next one.
Right.
You see it in the training room all the time.
I went to a Hoyler Gracie seminar, and I got to talk to him a little bit. And he talked about competition. And one of the things that he talked about is, like, it doesn't reflect your jiu-jitsu fully, right? You shouldn't be getting promoted off of just competition, right? But it's very true, because one competition, you could have a bad performance, you could have an adrenaline dump, it could be a small minor thing or correction, but it's really how you recover from it. That's what really defines your jiu-jitsu. And if you go out there and continue to make the same mistakes, or if you go back to the drawing board and really try to focus and improve, right?
Right. I'm fortunate enough to have coaches, right? My main coach, Charles Gracie Fremont, and then I have two other coaches in Psycho, which is a Charles Gracie affiliate in Campbell. And I can pull from them, right? Okay, this went good, this went wrong, what do I need to work on? And they offer different insights to how to improve my game.
Yeah, what you need to do. Let me ask you, with the Charles Gracie organization, is it something that, do you guys have separate competition classes, or how is your preparation before the match, and how do you guys step it up for competitors?
So every academy is different,
right?
Different owners, different way they want to run their schedule and competition class or not. We do a lot of no-gi in Charles Gracie Fremont, and I compete a lot of no-gi. So usually when I'm prepping for a tournament or a competition, there's just a lot of work. Obviously, a lot of people behind me as well too. And my girlfriend, who always makes sure, everything's set for me. I can just focus on training and getting ready. For me personally, I won't. Usually, I found that sweet spot where I can't stop training. I've tried different methods where maybe I'll take a week off. I feel like it's not good for me.
Yeah.
So I'll train maybe all the way up until 2 days before the competition. I do strength and conditioning Tuesday and Thursdays. I feel that's enough for me. And then the rest is just training. You'll obviously have to keep up with teaching the classes and things of that nature too.
So those 2 days before the competition, what are you doing?
I'm going to a spa.
You're just chilling, right?
Chilling,
Just trying to relax.
No jiu-jitsu, nothing. Not watching instructionals, not looking at matches, not thinking about jiu-jitsu. I'm just doing what I want to do. Right?
Yeah.
Usually it's going to a spa, relaxing, maybe hanging out with the girlfriend, of course.
Yeah. And then day of, what's your morning like? Do you have a big breakfast? Do you like to kind of chill off on eating, have some small snacks throughout the day? How does that usually work?
It depends. So if the competition's early, I won't eat. I'll just have hydration and maybe a little bit of snack, but I won't eat. I like to compete hungry.
Yeah. And early, we're talking like morning time, right? Like 10 a.m., 9 a.m. start time.
Yeah, but usually that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Especially at this level. And
brown belt. Yeah. You're usually going later in the afternoon.
So I will eat a big breakfast, hydration, of course, and then kind of taper off the food from there. Nothing too crazy, right? Maybe a couple snacks. And then I don't really worry about my weight. It's kind of where it's at. So I don't have to worry about that. And then you just compete a little bit hungry.
Yeah. You like to be wanting a meal, huh?
Yeah. So it feels a lot better. I just can't eat something heavy and then go compete. It doesn't work with me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think back in 2007, I did the Gracie Open in Concord. And I remember like they told us we had to get there early in the morning to like weigh in and check in and do all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so we got there at like 9, 10 a.m. And I think my matches weren't until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Jeez.
And so like the whole day I'm like starving, right? I'm like waiting to eat because I thought I would be in the morning. And then the Gracie Open back in the day was just a disaster as far as scheduling and timing, and nothing was on time. And so, I kept thinking I'd have a match, and they're like, no, it's getting postponed till later. And that was all good. But at one point, I was starving, and I was like, hey, it's like 3 o'clock. I went and talked to Caesar, and he said it'd probably be another couple hours. So I was like, finally, I got to get something to eat.
Right.
And, but the whole day, like having a tournament last that long, and you're up and down with adrenaline, and you warm up and you try to stay warm, and you drop back down. It's really, really tough. Mm-hmm. And then, especially if you experience any of those adrenaline dumps too, that can be, even worse. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really warm up. I probably should.
I was just about to ask you, what's your backstage preparation like? Like, how do you warm up for it? Or do you, some people, they'll do a couple drills. Some people are back there doing full on rolls with people.
I don't know. I haven't really dialed that in yet. I've tried both. I don't know which one works for me. Usually I don't warm up though.
Yeah.
And if I do warm up, it's with my coach, and we're just not doing anything that's really related to my game. I think the last event I won, we did pummeling drills just to warm up.
Yeah.
I didn't do any wrestling on the guy,
Yeah.
So
it's good to get moving though,
yeah,
right?
It's good to get moving. But for the most part, I just kind of keep to myself, just get in my own head, get ready to compete.
Do you got like a band or a song that gets you going?
Not really. I'm not a music guy.
No,
not when I mean, I'm sure it helps, but I'm not like, I'm just focused on getting the win.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes I'll talk to like teammates, or talk to my opponent sometimes. Hey, what's up? Like I talked to Cody before our match, right? Yeah. It just really depends. Just keep my mind busy and get out there.
Right. Stay focused. That's important. Earlier you were talking about starting jiu-jitsu and being such a lightweight guy. You do compete a little bit heavier now, correct?
Yes.
So
not too much heavier.
So let's talk about how you've been able to put on a little bit of muscle or weight since then. How has it been? Has it been in your diet? Has it been in the strength and conditioning behind it? Where's it come into play?
So I started about 130, and then the natural progression over there was to cut to Rooster, which is 127, I believe. And they didn't have anybody for me to compete. They would always put me into the 141s anyways. So that was the dilemma. And then honestly, just from years of training, I built myself up to about maybe 138, 140. And then once I linked up with my coaches over at Psycho, because they do personal training as well there.
Yeah.
He got me on a workout program, talked about diet. That's been a game changer for me as well. I can feel stronger, right? The body composition is there. I'm lasting longer in matches and rounds. I've been able to probably go up to 147 now, 148. I do have to cut a little bit. I have a match coming at 145. But I also noticed that when I do cut, it's not fun.
Yeah.
My body likes to stay where it's at or gain more.
What's your cuts like? What are you doing to cut?
Of course, I got to dial back on the calories, right? But it's not anything extreme. I don't change anything I eat. I just eat less. But again, this body just does not
doesn't like to drop the weight. Yeah, some people are different, you know.
I get sick.
Like a cold sickness or
yeah, like cough and all that stuff. I was trying to cut for ACC San Jose to 143. I made it to maybe 145 or 144, and I started getting sick. So I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of diet, I keep things pretty simple. I mean, I probably could use more fruits and vegetables in my diet, but a lot of protein.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. I try not to eat out too much, but of course, I'm not perfect.
What's your fast food of choice?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out.
You gotta go with In-N-Out.
Yeah. Tell me your order. I ask everyone.
Gotta go with no lettuce or tomatoes.
Okay.
Okay. Used to either 3x3 or double.
Okay.
Cold cheese.
Cold cheese.
Cold
okay.
cheese. That you may not have heard that one.
No,
right?
it's on the secret menu. I know the secret menu well.
There you go. Cold cheese, right? So the cheese doesn't stick to the bag, none of that stuff.
Does it get a little hot and melt on the burger?
No,
okay.
It does not. That's the interesting
Very
part.
Interesting. Wow.
It stays cold.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a different texture.
Yeah.
Chopped chilies and grilled onions.
Yeah. That sounds fire, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
And if I'm feeling fancy, maybe some fries. Not too much.
I'm not big on In-N-Out's fries, you know.
No.
Have you ever been to Texas and experienced Whataburger?
No. I had a chance when I was in Vegas for the YJS camp.
Yeah.
I think that was in April, a while back. And we walked right by it, and I was like, I'm too tired.
I'll save you time, dude. Don't waste your time, dude. In-N-Out shits on it. It's way better. Like, it's like not even a competition.
I heard the gravy
bro.
was good.
It's not even in the same ballpark, dude. It's like Little League and the pros.
All right.
That's how far off it is. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate from my fans in Texas. We got a lot of love in Texas, but there's just a reality, and In-N-Out is definitely a superior product. So
I can't argue with that, although I've never had Whataburger. So
yeah. So let's get into a little bit more. I wanted to have you on. You've been a sponsored athlete by your Jiu-Jitsu Scuks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why
JJS?
See,
Don't worry, everybody messes it up.
I mess it up all the time. But how did you get linked up with them? When did that come into your jiu-jitsu journey?
So I knew that question was coming. The details on how, kind of fuzzy. Whether it's I just found them on Instagram or my teammate found them on Instagram and introduced me to the brand. I think that's the story he's sticking with. And I'm sticking with I found them on Instagram. For a long time, I wasn't sponsored by them. But I was always constantly buying their stuff, reposting their stuff, just because I liked the brand.
Yeah.
It was dope. The owner, Roman, very easy to talk to. And then eventually it came to a point where I was just like, hey, if you're going to sponsor some athletes, I'm down. It was strictly through a DM too.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything professional.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm down, but if not, it's cool. I'll still represent the brand. And I'm talking, I was posting people thought it was my brand.
Yeah.
That's how much I was representing YJS. And people would come up to me and say, oh, that's cool. It's your brand. I was like, no, it's not my brand. And then eventually, I think coming up on maybe 2 or 3 years of being sponsored now, Roman put me in, and then been with them ever since. And we're growing our network here, a group of people. We have a good group of people. David's in there.
Yeah.
If you know David Hokage.
Yeah. The best memes out there, man. His memes lately, the new like the toys and the action figure things that are coming out with Instagram. If you gotta just go on his page, man, because it is hilarious. I've been cracking up. I mean, I could go on about how many memes he's been putting out lately that are just fire.
Oh, he has memes that I haven't given permission to use because my picture's in there. And I probably will never give him permission to use it.
He's the best, man. He catches everybody.
Yeah. But no, it's been great. The camp was great in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Orient Jiu-Jitsu, all the guys there are really good. If you're in Vegas, go train at Orient. And it's just been great ever since, being with them, taking in the athletes and taking care of us. The gear's really good.
Give me some more details on what the camp was like. What was going on there? Were you guys drinking Kool-Aid and saying prayers or something?
No, it's just
I'm just playing.
It was just us learning jiu-jitsu. There's a bunch of jiu-jitsu nerds hanging out.
How many sessions were you guys training?
10 to 1 p.m., 2 sessions. So Friday and Saturday, I think. And then it was gi and no gi, obviously, and then it's really good. So the gi stuff was really good. The coaches showed a lot of stuff that, translate to my gi game. Spider guard, lasso, de la Hiva. Unfortunately, I'm just not that much of a gi competitor at the moment. I would like to be, but just not in the cards right now.
Yeah.
And the no gi stuff was really cool too. Of course, leg locks, really big, half guard passing, a couple takedowns as well too. It's really good. More just us hanging out, to be honest with you. A bunch of jiu-jitsu guys hanging out. Was it really anything like? I mean, it was special, but it wasn't like go to camp, do this, do that. Everybody was hanging out after.
Are you guys like spitfiring ideas on submissions and playing off of some of the stuff that you guys were shown? Or I've been to camps. I recently went out to the Backwoods BJJ retreat. And what I thought was super cool about that was we did a session, and it was really awesome because we just got there, and they're like, "Those session's about to start right now, so we got to get dressed." And but after the session, everyone kind of went and did their own things. But what was cool was like the guy that was teaching was down there willing to answer any questions he had and like kind of dissect some things that you were thinking about, because you know how it is sometimes after you leave you get some more questions and more thoughts on your mind,
right?
So it's kind of cool to have those experiences where you can talk about training experiences, you can talk about things you guys were learning and kind of piggyback off of each other,
right? And they've been very accommodating of that, the instructors that taught there, teaching gi stuff and no gi stuff, and everybody's just having a good time. We can pick their brains.
Yeah.
And of course you're in Vegas, so everybody's hanging out afterwards.
Yeah.
It's a really good time about jiu-jitsu and just hanging out.
Yeah.
Good people.
It's always nice to be around your fellow jiu-jitsu competitors, athletes, training partners, right?
Meme makers.
Meme makers. But you can really I don't know. There's just something about being around a fellow jiu-jitsu athlete. It's fun. You guys have so much to talk about. I saw a meme recently where they're like, "Oh, when you see your jiu-jitsu buddy in the wild," and it was a pretty funny one. But yeah, it's important, and you want to have those people, those kind of camps and seminars, and they're really cool and fun. I like learning that way. I like going to seminars and camps. But I have heard of some people that said, they don't like learning that way. I don't really understand it because I'm a big fan.
I would say, and again, this is what my coach has taught me, is if you could pick one thing from the camp or from the seminar and take it with you, then it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on, right? There's so much going on. And there's a lot of techniques, a lot of stuff, a lot of information. Just pick one thing from each instructor that you can take away with you.
Right.
And then it's worth it.
The buddy system's good too. So I have a really close friend of mine. We go to a lot of seminars, and I'll say, hey, you remember one move, I'll remember another. And then you go back and at least you could work on those two, right? Because it's going to be hard to remember them all, but maybe between 2 people or even 3 people, if you're lucky, you guys can get a little bit of all of it. So.
Right. And then, of course, if you have film, you can review it.
Nowadays, that's a little more accepted. Years ago, like that was so taboo to do.
Right.
Like, cameras in the dojo were not something that was, running rampant when I started, at least.
Yeah, I was on the tail end of that, I feel. It's just changing.
Yeah.
Right? Jiu-Jitsu is more popular, right? And I don't understand that rule. I never did because I paid you for the seminar or whatever it is.
I want to remember
this stuff. I'm not going to share it with people.
Yeah.
But I need to have a visual.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people are visual learners, right?
Right.
That means a lot. But yeah, no, it definitely has changed. Years ago there was no class pictures ever too. Like, so when you did get one, it was like a super special, class training or a moment, but yeah, it's kind of wild to think about how much it's evolved and changed, and back then I always say it was like gang warfare. Like you're repping the Baja patch. I'm repping the Gracie, Caesar Gracie patch, so it was always, something. But yeah, it was a different world back then. But now it's a little bit more accepted. Now we can cross train a little bit more, and
some of the traditions are going out.
Right. But it's going to only evolve the sport.
Right, and then nogi's obviously really popular right now. There's that debate, of course, gi or no gi. I think you need to do both. Right? You need to do both to be well rounded. They both complement each other. Just consider it cross training.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, wrestling, judo, all those things are, if you're going to compete, you need to have a solid base of those things.
Yeah.
In addition to your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Either wrestling or judo. I mean, nowadays, even sambo or some sort of other aspect of it. Right.
Right.
But yeah, it's very crucial. If you don't know how to wrestle at all, right? Like you don't even know how to defend a takedown. Like it's gonna be a wild ride. Like if you get slammed on your head, in a self-defense situation,
you better have a good guard game, or
But getting slammed on your head doesn't matter, right? You could have the best guard game in the world, but if you don't know how to fall right or get taken down correctly and change the angle, you're gonna get fucked up.
Right, and I think that's the. Well, that's the other debate, right? It's like some of these classes aren't doing warm-ups now. It's like you get taken down and you don't know how to fall. It's your first day.
Yeah.
Like, you got to teach them at least how to break their fall before you throw them.
The other thing is, too, like, I mean, do you really want to do jiu-jitsu on the concrete?
No.
Or the asphalt? It's hot. So many factors that could, go wrong. Like, you don't want to go to your back in any sort of way on concrete.
Right. I mean, even shooting a takedown on concrete is going to hurt.
It's going to tear your knees apart.
Right.
I remember there's a funny story back in the day. I saw this guy stealing someone's purse. And I just had surgery on my hands. I had stitches in my hands and stuff like that. But a friend of mine went to go after the perp and tackled him in the parking lot. But when he tackled him, his head hit the ground. Oh. And he had this big old knot, dude, on his forehead. Like, I mean, it was bad. Yeah. And his knees were all scraped up. And I was like, man, it's a lot different. Like, mats are nice. Mats are nice to get taken down on. Anybody can get taken down on mats. But go try a Uchimata or, some crazy takedown on some concrete and, see what happens. No one's going to get back up.
Right. It's also like, street fight or self-defense. They can punch you, they can bite you. Like, jiu-jitsu is a good foundation for closing distance and managing that distance, but anything can happen in a self-defense situation.
Right. The factors that people don't understand are very real. You can get poked in the eyes.
Right.
Like that's the UFC poke in the eyes thing that needs to go away, right? You need to fight through that.
Right.
I think that eye pokes should be allowed. They should be accepted. You need to watch out for them because it's going to blind you.
Right.
I don't care if it's a sport or not. Like it's a real thing in a fight. right? You get poked in the eye,
right.
you're done. So
Right.
I think that the UFC needs to quit giving 5 minutes and just allow eye pokes.
Then you just go back to UFC 1, right?
Maybe not that crazy, right? But the eye pokes definitely, let them get poked.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting, though. There's a lot of self-defense situations that are really make you look at jiu-jitsu and everything a little bit different.
Right.
Like, you land an ankle on a sidewalk or something like that in a takedown, and then you can't walk. Like, it's a real factor.
No, you don't even have to go to self-defense for that. I went to compete at IBJJF, and nobody got submitted in the match. But the next day, my ankle's all swollen. I don't know how.
Right.
Right.
It happens.
Could be with age, but I don't know. Maybe I rolled it the wrong way. I guess I'm too stubborn. I don't know. I popped my ankle in the competition before and I wanted to keep going, but the guy had a solid heel hook on me.
You're a let it break guy, huh?
No. Yes.
Have you gone to sleep in a match?
No.
No.
I will never. I can say I've never gone to sleep in training or in a match, but I have gotten things broken.
Yeah.
It's just, I think I'd rather have something break than go to sleep, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah,
See,
no,
I'm the complete opposite,
Scary.
dude. I'm like, all right, put me to sleep. Cool. I'm taking a nap. I'm waking up in a couple seconds. But breaking my arm, I got 3 months to recover.
Okay,
4 or 5 months
It
sometimes.
depends on what you're breaking or trying to break.
Yeah, it
right?
may be surgery too.
My ankle, you're fine. Right? My knee, probably not, right? I have a lot of flexibility, so I get away with certain submissions. Right?
Yeah.
And I kind of lean on that too much to the point where it's probably not healthy for me because eventually that's going to break, right?
Yeah. Eventually, your flexibility gets worse as you get older.
And I feel like my right side is just so flexible. Like you have to Americana me or Kimura me on my left side to get something.
Yeah.
And then ever since I popped my ankle, like it's so hard to ankle lock me on that side.
Wow.
It's weird.
Reinforcement, huh?
Yeah. Like I just look at them like switch sides. You attack the left side,
Yeah.
I'm done. But
Yeah.
right side, I'm gonna fight out of it.
Yeah. What are you shooting for in a match? Like what are your like main submissions that you're trying to work towards, or control points that you're trying to work towards?
So the dynamic of me as a competitor, especially nogi, I'm trying to shift. Right, I'm known for leg locks. I'm known for, going for the legs, and that's fine. But of course, I have more to show, more to prove to myself. It's not an easy shift, right? I got to go back to training, going back to things. But again, I'm going to use all my toolkits, right? I'm going to use my triangles. I'm very good with my triangles. I'm going to use De La Hiva, right? I use De La Hiva, nogi a lot. Try to take the back or sweep from there.
Yeah.
Get into a leg entry, of course. But it's not on the top list of my priority. Focus more is about trying to attack the neck, maintain the control, be more of a top player than a bottom player right now.
Yeah.
It's not easy, right? Of course, but I'm willing to put in the work to get there.
Yeah. It's something I found out too at brown belt. Like I used to play a lot of guard game, and I got long legs, so guard games, I got sweeps for days. I got triangles, arm bars, like but I really had to develop my top game at brown belt, and I really wanted to be like that dominant like feeling. Like when I get on top of you, you're like panicked. And so I really started focusing on that. And
Right.
I mean, it helped my game tremendously because, like, yeah, if I ever get on my back, I got an amazing guard game I could play, but you don't want me on top.
Right, right.
That's where you get screwed. So you got to be well-rounded.
Yeah. And for me, I think I've developed my mount side control a lot more. I used to hate those positions just because I would get thrown off so easily. But now I feel like my weight distribution is a lot more. My pressure is there.
Yeah.
Where I place my hands, where I place my body. Things of that nature, kind of little tweaks kind of fix that for me.
Yeah.
If I get you in a position where I'm on top of you, I'm going to make you, you're going to hold my weight. You're going to you're gonna feel the pressure, and I'm not in any rush to finish right there.
Yeah. Make them make the mistake, right?
Right.
They're in the position they're going to eventually make a mistake, and you're going to take advantage.
I'm gonna run out the clock a bit. I'm gonna, think about what I'm gonna have for dinner while I'm holding you there.
You said earlier you had a competition coming up. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so quite a few actually. Part of the reason for that is to, of course, fulfill my obligation to YJJS, and just because I like to compete. I'm going to compete until I can no longer compete. The next one, a few local ones, but the super match will be the match showdown in Fightcraft, I'm sorry, San Jose. I'm going against the 10th Planet guys, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. You get matched up against a lot of 10th Planet guys, it seems like.
Yes, and younger guys.
Yeah.
Because they just can't find anybody my weight and that wants to compete, It's like I had maybe the last three matches I had planned, people have pulled out.
Yeah.
And I've pulled out of matches, but so I get it, but at the same time, it's like 3 in a row, really.
It's been a while since I feel like we've seen you. Like, I mean, at least locally, right?
Yeah, I haven't done an art swab in a while. I think the last one I saw you at was when I was going against Cody.
Yeah, sometime last year.
Yeah, that was brown belt. Yeah, and then I took a break from the art swab scene and wanted to do other promotions. And then, but we will be doing the quintet, the YGS. There's a YGS quintet. I think we're going to go against another brand. I don't know the brand yet, but that will be in Slow.
I like that.
June 21st, so the week after the match showdown. Then I applied for all the other art suaves that's coming up too. Reno.
They got the big one in Stockton this summer
Stockton, and Sacramento again. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of them coming up. I actually might be at that San Luis Obispo one. So I'm excited to check that one out. I'm going to talk to Mr. Alfredo. But yeah, their organization's killing it right now. They're doing very, very well. I love just the brand in general. It's an amazing organization. But there's a lot of good ones out there too. There's a lot of other amazing areas for grapplers to get their competitions in, and but I'm loving how many of them are popping up. The more the merrier in my mind.
Right. It's good, but then there's also like once you get to brown belt, competition gets kind of thin.
Oh yeah.
It is what it is. Just depending on their weight and your age. I've noticed like there's grappling industries. There's maybe one guy in my bracket.
Yeah. And then black belt's got to be even harder, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I take these super matches. It's like pretty much guaranteed a match, unless you get injured or the person gets injured, has to pull out, whatever the case can be. And then, with that, I'm not too picky on, I told Alfredo, it's like, put me with a black belt, put me with somebody younger. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just give me a match, somebody my weight. And it's always been my mentality with him. Or we're just competing. It's a funny story with Art Survivor though, because the first match they offered me, I was cutting weight, and I got COVID.
The lovely COVID, right? Right. Everyone's worst nightmare during that time.
And I think this was around the time everything started opening up. So
yeah,
I was like, dude, I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one.
Yeah, and then the joke was, he messaged me for the next event. It was like, are you going to pull out? I was like, no.
Yeah, it's COVID days were wild though. Like it was the Wild West back then. I feel like, there's at least Arte Suave was doing stuff. There's a lot of like competitions that kind of like fluttered out and disappeared or took a long break. So it was nice that they kept doing their thing. Yeah,
and then once things opened up, like competitions every week now.
Yeah. It's so much different, man. Like I look back at the COVID days and it seems like only yesterday, but man, it's getting far behind us now. It's 5 years ago that everything was starting to get wild.
Feels like it was not that long ago.
Feels like just yesterday.
Just yesterday, right?
You still see people, wearing their masks out,
right.
and, like driving in cars with masks on.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, man. It's a different world we live in. You know?
Some students train with masks on still.
Really?
Yeah.
Training with masks on. I did see, like, there was a few YouTube things going around at that time, and there was full gyms that everyone was wearing masks.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's kind of just up to you.
Yeah.
It's a personal choice, I think, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely
Shouldn't
it shouldn't be required
Yeah.
or, anything like that. Like, I think that if you feel that that's for you, I mean, cool.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, you roll with me in a mask, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna cover your mouth, right? And you're gonna submit very quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm taking that mask off.
Yeah, no. It's wild. A lot of places even back then were doing online stuff.
Oh, the
Like,
Zoom days.
The Zoom trainings,
days.
yeah.
We did that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't really fun.
Being in the Bay Area, was it shut down for quite a while, or?
It was
Yeah.
quite a while. I don't remember how long. But no, I mean, thankfully for us, parents were very understanding. They kept their memberships active
Yeah.
to support. And then when we reopened, I want to say not a whole lot of our former students came back, but we got a bunch of new students.
Did you continue to train during those times, or did you take time off?
Took time off.
Yeah.
And then continued to train one-on-one with my coaches.
Like private lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when things were opened up, it was great. I remember the first Jiu-Jitsu World League back? I think it was in Fullerton.
Okay.
Probably not the first, but one of the first.
Yeah.
We took a trip out there. Still blue belt at the time, I think. And we drove down there. We were so amped up. Let's go. First tournament
Yeah.
back. Blue belt. My boy's driving. He's a white belt. My coach is driving another car. We get out there. And we both got fourth place. That car ride home
Yeah.
was dead silent.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
No radio.
Everyone's got headphones on.
No
I
nothing.
bet.
Just get me home. Stop by here. Pick me up an energy drink. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Why do you think it's just from taking the time off, or?
Yeah, and I feel like at blue belt again, I was going through those highs and lows, and it's probably low. I didn't really have a whole lot of takedowns. I kept pulling guard my second match for third place. I just wasn't probably taking your time off too affected it.
Yeah.
Getting back into competition. I think the competition after that, they came to Stockton, and that's when I took first place, and that's when I kind of started hitting
Some
my
strides.
stride. Yeah. It was actually against David's teammate. We make fun of it all the time.
Which teammate was it?
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay.
Bourbano.
Bourbano. Yeah. My boy.
Yeah, I had a Arts 5 match against him too.
Yeah.
He came out looking like Mr. Roshi. Master Roshi. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's something else. But yeah, I'm sure it did affect your competition a little bit, taking a little bit of time off, and some people never even made it back.
Right.
That's the worst case scenario. Some people never made it back
Right.
after COVID, and God bless them. But
Felt like we were restarting the academy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brand new students. I had a few come back. Some of them stuck, some of them didn't, but it's like, it's just different, right? It's like a different generation of people that you're teaching now.
very much so. Yeah. And kids, I mean, like, let's be real. Like, you gotta, they lose interest in things really quickly, right? They can
Right.
lose or gain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, a little bit of time away from jiu-jitsu, all of a sudden they're doing, guitar, and they're more into guitar than jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah.
So it happens, especially with kids, and there's no right or wrong thing, like, let them explore. That's what it's about, being an adolescent. But they may find their way back. They may find their way back to jiu-jitsu one day,
Right.
after they're done, becoming an expert on the
Right.
guitar.
I mean, I don't have kids, but I think my viewpoint on that is you should have them in something that's going to maybe one day save their lives,
yeah,
right? Whether that be swimming or jiu-jitsu or some form of martial arts, right? Something that's going to benefit them in the real world.
Yeah.
And then, of course, another activity that's just a hobby or something. That's always been my viewpoint, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know if they're going to need to defend themselves. You never know if they need to swim to save their lives.
That's very, very true. Or even track. Like, they may have to run from something.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's especially with kids. Like, you can't let them try enough, right? Like, let them explore. They may find something they're good at or find something they're really into, and that may be something that takes them all the way through life.
Right.
So, yeah, you never know with kids.
And then I also have parents. I talk to parents, and they have a different viewpoint where it's like, no, you're going to do this,
Yeah.
and that's the complete extreme, and it doesn't work. It has its pros and cons as well too.
Yeah. They grow up hating it or hating the parent for it, like,
Right.
I always hated when you took me to jiu-jitsu as a kid,
I don't think any kid's going to say that.
No, but yeah, it's funny, man. There are the extremes in that situation, right? The kid may be into computers, and you're forcing them to take violin, and they're miserable.
I don't know. I mean, I wanted to play the drums or percussion in band, and my parents put me on the saxophone. So
yeah, you could have been the best drummer out there, man.
We'll never know.
Never know,
we'll
right?
Never know at this point, right?
Talk to me a little bit more about your kids program and being a coach and helping out at Charles Gracie Academy.
So I started volunteering at white belt, and then went full time blue belt, coaching, teaching. It's been fun. So it still is fun. It helps reveal a bit about my character, the way I teach, the way I carry myself, and the way I act in front of the kids and in front of the parents as well. The way I have to teach. Everybody's different. Patience. Mostly I teach the 4 to 6 year olds. That's a
hard age, right? 4 to 6.
It's fun for me.
Yeah.
It's fun for me. I just get to be a kid.
Yeah.
I get to have fun with them.
Get to be goofy, right?
Play some games.
Yeah.
Adorable kids, right? At that age. We're a bit more stricter on the 7 to 13. Just because you're coming into being a grown up, right?
Yeah.
You might get bullied, right? It's the reality of the world you live in. So we try to treat them like little adults as well. Don't teach the adults too much now. More focused on just competing. Well, the 4 to 6 year olds are like my niche, you could say. We do have a curriculum we follow. So the 4 to 6 year olds, we don't teach any submissions. It's more about your 5 safe positions in jiu-jitsu, right? Mount, back mount, side control, knee on belly, and of course guard. And how to maintain those positions, right? How to fall properly.
Yeah.
If somebody pushes you, how to get a good base.
Break falling is important for those kids. Yeah.
And you just tell them to do it, and they just do it. These kids, I swear,
crazy.
They pick it up so fast. And the main part of that is just to have fun. Is there a downside to not teaching them submissions at that young age? Yes and no, right? I will say if they compete, they have to learn some form of submissions. But for basic self-defense and jiu-jitsu, not at that age.
Yeah. My daughter, she's 2. And I've had her on the mat since she was like 6 months old, moving her around and stuff like that. And recently she's been getting in a little bit of trouble for putting kids in the rear naked choke at daycare. So yeah, definitely not giving all the secrets to the 2-year-olds.
So the issue was, not issue, but the situation, I guess you could say, was there's a 4 to 6 year old and they're doing privates with me. And of course I'm going to teach them the fun stuff, submissions, right? So then they go into the group class and we do bully battle. And then they're over there locking this rear naked choke or armbar on this kid. This kid has no clue what's going on. And then I'm just like, you can't do that in this class.
Yeah. You got to save it.
You got to say yes. So it's always just fun. Those little hands, they get in there and some kids, they get on my back. They're already choking me. I'm like, hey, relax.
Yeah. Those kids are something else. I teach the young ones too. And man, it's wild how some of them just absorb it so quickly. And but seeing the development, like you got to look at it like, man, you get to be a part of the foundation and the their whole like core of jiu-jitsu starts with you.
Right. And you see them grow, especially if they stick with you.
Yeah,
right?
you see them progress.
See them progress as competitors, see them progress as people, and grow into from 4 to however old.
Yeah.
But I will always view them as that little kid.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? But you're still going to be that little kid to me.
Yeah.
You know. And then you have some kids who they just fall off, and it's fine too. Can't please everybody, but for me, it's just seeing that growth.
Yeah.
Especially in competition, right? Take a kid from not winning, maybe not so confident, to bring them up to submitting everybody.
Yeah.
Getting first place, right? Feels good.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
Right, very rewarding, very satisfying, you know, and then, or maybe just a kid who's super shy in class, doesn't talk to anybody. Or another story is, you know, they're getting bullied in school. You think this kid's not paying attention in class. He gets bullied in school. He does exactly what you tell him to do. What more could you ask for?
Yeah.
Right?
Do you follow Tom DeBlas?
On Instagram, no. I know who he is. I just don't follow him on Instagram.
He posts a lot of things, and he'll post videos of kids getting bullied at school or kids that are just getting teased or whatever. And I mean, he searches those kids out, and he'll fly them out to his academy and train them and take care of them and treat them like a king or a queen. And but man, it's really, really like, you know, important. Like these kids are getting fucked with all the time at schools, and like, you know, especially nowadays, like I think some of us are like, oh, you know, it's not as bad as we think. But, you know, when you find out what's going on and these kids have like crazy high anxiety, like show me a kid nowadays who doesn't have anxiety. Right. It's like weird.
Well, you also have to think about the COVID generation, right?
Yeah.
Like these kids were sheltered in place, like social skills, right?
Yeah. They didn't get to develop them. And and it depends on what years you were going through that, right? Like, were you 4 to 5 where you really need that stuff? Or were you 20? Right. You know, like it affected every age group in a different way, right? Some older generations, they were using it to start businesses and apps and, you know, things like that, where, you know, some middle schoolers were having a hard time. Like, it affected everyone in so many different ways, like, you know, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, having those kids that, you know, need it and need to have jiu-jitsu in their lives or some sort of self-defense, right? Even if it's Taekwondo, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I will say, you know, Taekwondo at that young age is really good. Mm-hmm. I did it till I was about 18.
Did you get your black belt in Taekwondo?
I did not.
Yeah?
I stopped right before.
I hear that so often. I always wonder why. I have a friend that did
18,
that too.
You know, you just want to go party, whatever, live that party lifestyle a little bit. Because you imagine you've been doing it for years. Yeah. You know, do I regret not getting my black belt? Probably a bit.
Would you ever go back?
No. I went again. Remember my old Taekwondo instructor is a black belt in Master Charles. He has his own academy. Yeah. And Tracy, I did Muay Thai with him for a little bit. And he's like, no, you don't need Taekwondo. Yeah. Like, it's good for development, like at a younger age. Know how to kick, know how to throw a punch, whatever the case can be. But at your age, when you get a little older, you should go into Muay Thai. Yeah. Because this is going to teach you how to knock somebody out, as opposed to just scoring a point. Again, I'm not knocking Taekwondo, but, you know, Muay Thai. Yeah, it's different. It depends what you want. Yeah. Right?
What are you seeking out? Yeah. Do you train much in Muay Thai, or have you ever gotten really into Muay Thai?
No, I just did it for a couple months, and it wasn't really. I mean, it's fun, but it just wasn't really clicking with me. I didn't want to the drive to Tracy, things of that nature. I didn't want to be doing all that, and my schedule with jiu-jitsu just gets so busy. Yeah, between teaching privates, teaching at the academy, competition. So I decided I just want to fully immerse myself in jiu-jitsu as opposed to different stuff.
Would you consider yourself addicted to jiu-jitsu?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, practicing moves, right, on the girlfriend. Yeah. Instructionals. I'm always thinking about, you know, well, what if I did this instead? And I always troubleshoot with my coaches. If I'm not competing, I'm coaching at a competition, right? It's things of nature. Yeah, there's days where I'm like, but it's too much, but still go through those days.
Yeah.
Everything outside of the mats affects your jiu-jitsu, your diet, how much sleep you get, what you're eating, of course, and if you're working out. I didn't think too much of that until after, I say, losing a few matches.
Yeah. It's a huge factor. Even how much water you drink. Right. Hydration. Like if you're going through the day, you ain't drinking water, it's going to affect your jiu-jitsu for sure. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things like that with it, you know? It's very interesting though. Where do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself running an academy or continuing to teach at Charles, or where do you see yourself like 10 years down the road?
10 years. That's going to be a tough call because right now I still want to compete. Because of that, opening my own academy is taking a back seat, right? Because I need to win IBJJF at black belt. I need to win ADCC Opens, right? Just want to compete until I no longer can do it physically. And I don't know where that's going to put me 10 years from now, right?
How old will you be 10 years from now?
50.
50, okay.
Yeah. But then you have guys like Barry Yoshida who's still competing at 50 years old. And he runs his own academy.
Yeah. Mackenzie Dern's dad still competes. Yeah. Coral
Lovato.
Yeah.
Right? So it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. On one hand, yes, I would like to open my own academy, you know, or whatever the case can be. But on the other hand, I still want to compete. If I have not reached those goals, I need to continue. But it's regardless of what it is, jiu-jitsu is always going to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
It's just what it is now.
Yeah. It's hard once you get a taste of it, right? It's hard imagining your life without it.
Right.
Yeah, especially like I love when people say they're addicted to jiu-jitsu because I am too. Right. I do a podcast on it. I have my own gym, constantly diving deep into jiu-jitsu.
Well, I train when I'm injured.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
When you run an academy too, you can't take time off. You learn to train around everything.
You have to be there for your students.
Yes, right? Very true. But it's been crazy. You know, you think of it like when I was younger. You know, and if I'd get little injuries, I'd skip practice today, you know. And it was so easy to do, but nowadays, like I'm like, I don't want to. Right. I don't want to skip practice ever. Like
at least have a presence on the mat.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta be out there, you know.
Thankfully no major injuries.
Yeah. Nothing.
Knock on wood.
No crazy surgeries or
had a dislocated pinky at white belt. They just pop that sucker back in. It doesn't even sit straight anymore.
Uh-oh. You got a Kurt Osiander finger.
Yeah. And then ankle injury in competition. I didn't take any time off for that, really. I didn't even go to the doctors. I knew it wasn't broken because I was able to put weight on it and move it. Just swollen for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes there's like ligaments and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so surprised you're down to let it break, you know? I'm just like, man, this guy's into it.
I just feel like, it's the whole self-defense thing, right? If it breaks, you can still fight.
Yeah.
If you get put to sleep, you can't fight anymore.
That's the other thing about jiu-jitsu that's kind of a mind thing to get used to is like if you're on the streets and you break someone's arm in an arm bar, right? What's going to stop them from continuing to fight you?
Right.
Like Tim Sylvia fought Frank Mir after he broke his arm. Like he wanted to continue that fight.
Right. And then, out
Adrenaline.
You don't know if the guy's on drugs or something. If you break his arm, he's still going to come after you. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
But if you put a guy to sleep, you can just walk away from that.
Yeah. Well, you put him to sleep and then you break his arm.
And then walk away.
Just guarantee that he's going to be messed
with
up by
the
the time he wakes
Patty
up.
Pimlet triangle armbar combo there.
Whatever you got to do, man. Like I've seen it all. I've seen some crazy situations. I seen a bouncer break somebody's arm one time. And the dude was like complying. Like that was the messed up thing. He's being held down by two big dudes, and then the guy comes up and just like slowly breaks his arm. I was like, whoa.
There's something about watching like somebody break a limb and hearing the sound, but then you're looking away, but then you're still looking.
Those do you watch those videos on Instagram?
Oh yeah. And then I'm like, oh, and then I look back at it. Let me watch it again.
I used to watch them a lot, and one of them got me real good, and I haven't been able to watch them since. Like this whole kid's leg just it was like it might have even been like a compound fracture. It was nasty. It was disgusting and nasty, and ever since then it's messed me up from watching those.
The Kimura ones are the worst.
Oh yeah.
Those ones just snap.
It just makes a crazy sound.
Yeah. Jeez. I think a few years back at Charles' tournament, he does his annual tournament. One of the girls competing had this girl in a triangle. And this girl's she's not tapping, right? And we're just like, wrist lock her. Because it's legal, but she doesn't wrist lock her. She goes for the Kimura. And this girl's arm is just over. The girl's not tapping the triangle. She's not tapping the Kimura, right? And the next thing you know, you hear, and then you're like, oh.
Did you see just in this last UFC fight night card, Corey Sandhagen and Figueiredo were fighting, and they got into a 50-50 position, and Corey Sandhagen's got really long limbs, and he stood up and walked forward in the 50-50 and tore up Figueiredo's leg. Like, I mean, just instantly, like, and he said he heard it pop and tear, and like, he's like, yeah, that's what happens when you play 50-50. Like,
I did not see that, but that sounds
he had to be
fun.
carried off out of the octagon.
I play a lot of 50-50, by the way, so don't stand up in my 50-50.
Yeah, be careful. But it's something you got to think about, you know?
Right.
It really is a factor in this whole game. But yeah, it was just in the UFC. It was disgusting, man. Like if you know what kind of damage it's doing. It's probably tearing ACL, MCL, PCL. Who knows?
Patella's coming off. All kinds of stuff.
The meniscus is getting torn in there. Like it was just nasty in general. Yeah. And that's if it doesn't do any damage to the hip, right? You can always, destroy the hip in that position,
right?
Like a chicken bone.
And your ankle.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, man. So we like to play a game on the show. Overrated or underappreciated? I'm sure
David told me about this.
It's fun. You don't have to explain your answers. You can if you really, really want to, but you don't have to. Are you down?
Sure.
You want to stick to jiu-jitsu guys, grapplers, or UFC guys? It's up to you.
What does mostly everybody do?
Some people like to do the UFC guys with the grapplers. I'm open to whatever.
We'll include UFC guys, sure.
Okay. All right. I'm excited about this one. We just saw an amazing performance from Andrew Tackett at Who's Number One recently. I think he finished a heel hook, if I'm not mistaken. Overrated or underappreciated? Are you on the Andrew Tackett train?
Underappreciated. I think he's a good competitor, and he doesn't get enough of the following that he should. All the Tackett brothers, to be honest with you, I think they're very humble guys and very good competitors, very good jiu-jitsu, and they don't get enough credit for what they do.
I like it. My next one, Mikey Musumeci has signed to the UFC Fight Pass. Some people like his style, some people don't. He's not everyone's cup of tea. Are you overrated or underappreciated, Mikey Musumeci?
This guy will destroy me in seconds, but I think he's a bit overrated at this point.
Yeah.
I would like to see him do more of his jiu-jitsu as opposed to what we know him for. He does have a match coming with Gio Martinez. I'm a huge Gio Martinez fan, but I will say Gio is going to be an underdog going into there as well. But I do think Mikey is a bit overrated at this point. He's getting a lot of popularity. He's good at what he does, but again, jiu-jitsu is more than just leg locks. And I know he has more in his arsenal that I want to see in competition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I would love to see him open up a little bit more, I want to see him on, some big shows. Like, I hate that he's signing all these contracts with all these organizations and he's exclusive to these places. Right. I'd rather see him open up his horizon and compete all over like everyone else is doing. We just saw Nick Rodriguez make pretty quick work out of Kainan Darte, ADCC champion. What's your take on him? Overrated, underappreciated, Kainan?
I'm gonna say overrated again. Right, Nick Rodriguez is really good, but I've seen some matches where he's just hand fighting. It's there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, again, the same situation like Mikey. I want to see him do more. He did, do a lot of rear naked chokes in CJI or whatever the case can be, but I think he can do more. I think he's kind of still, he needs to do more because he blew up from his ADCC, where he's a blue belt, getting rid of all these black belts, and now you're the black belt.
Yeah.
Let's see you do more. Again, right, really good jiu-jitsu, really good wrestling, right? But I think he's a bit overrated for the same reason as Mikey.
Yeah. It's very true, though. Like you said, he's got all the skills, right?
Right.
He's got all the skills, but it's interesting. Giancarlo Berdoni, overrated or underappreciated, ADCC champion, but you don't ever really see him that much, right?
Underappreciated.
Yeah?
Yeah, again, you don't see him that much. Maybe he likes to be private, but I feel like he's in the same boat as the Tackett's, right? Where it's like they get these wins, but it's like, yay, and then kind of everybody moves on to the next, the hottest thing. Right?
Yeah. This one's interesting, Kay, because he just pulled off a win over Nick Rodriguez, but then he just got worked after that. And he also didn't have a good performance in CJI. I'm going to say it, Victor Hugo. Overrated or underappreciated? I don't know where he stands. Like, I don't know if he's the best ever or like if he gets lucky in these things. Like, I really don't know.
Maybe he's in the middle.
Maybe he is.
Maybe he's in the middle point right now, right? Maybe you have group of people that underappreciate him and a great group of people that overrate him. I don't want to say everybody's overrating him, though. That's the thing. I don't hear people.
What do you think of him?
I haven't seen enough of his competitions.
Yeah.
Right.
He was really he lost that CJI match.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back. He beats Nick Rodriguez, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a couple UFC Fight Pass performances that were pretty good, but he beats Nick Rodriguez. Then after that, he loses. I forget who he lost to. I'd have to look it up, but
that's the reality of the game we play.
Yeah.
Right. You can win one and then lose the other. Right. We talked about this earlier. It's just Victor. He's in that boat.
Yeah.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu math never lines up too, right? Like,
never.
Just because you beat that person doesn't mean you can beat the other person.
Right.
Styles are so important in jiu-jitsu.
And it goes back to the belt system too. Like this blue belt's completely different than another blue belt.
Yes.
So to answer your question, I don't know where he lies on that scale. I think he tips more towards underrated, I want to say, or underappreciated. But then he has his moments where he's winning. So it's a hard call.
Yeah. That one's probably one of the toughest ones, I would say, because like you just don't know which Victor Hugo you're going to get.
Right.
So I'd like to see him out there a little bit more, maybe have some high-profile matches and continue to perform.
Right.
Maybe that'll show us a little bit more with him. But yeah, he's an animal though.
Yeah.
Like when he's on, dude, like he's fucking everyone up. So I really just
he just needs to be that guy
every time. Every time. Maybe nerves are something he struggles with. That CJI match was just, it didn't make no sense. The guy that went out there and beat him pretty decisively, and he was such an underdog, like undersized,
right. Who was his match against?
I'm gonna look it up while we're talking about it, but yeah, it was just really wasn't impressive.
Right.
So, but yeah. Okay, let's go overrated, underappreciated. Let's talk some UFC guys now. Now somebody that just what's our homie that just lost the belt this past weekend?
Oh man,
Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
Overrated or underappreciated? A lot of people don't think he deserved to even be the champion. Like,
I'm gonna say overrated just because I'm not a fan of him.
yeah. How come you're not a fan of him?
Just not a
Just
not a fan.
stylistically?
Stylistically, and just I don't know too much about him. He doesn't interest me as a fighter. It's nothing personal, of course, right? It's just
Yeah.
I have
Not
my
your cup of tea?
Yeah, I have my fighters that I'm fans of, and it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Here's another good one. I don't know why this guy just came to my head, but maybe I was thinking of his Imanari role against BJ Penn, but Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall, I would like to see him back in the UFC. Yes, as somebody who leg locks and of course does all that stuff. I'd like to see him come back and show more.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he is.
But it would be interesting if he did.
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
Yes.
You know, like I said, that Imanari roll into BJ Penn, like you can't do that to BJ Penn. Like BJ Penn is a high level grappler,
Right.
Like, and always has been. Like, he's very flexible and all of those different factors. Speaking of, right, he's losing his mind. BJ Penn's posting some crazy things about his family. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation with CTE. There's a lot of things going around the internet. But let's outlook all that and just say, as a fighter, overrated or underappreciated?
BJ Penn,
Yes.
underappreciated. You know,
Yeah.
he's one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he lost to Ryan Hall, but like,
That was he shouldn't have been fighting back
yeah,
then.
he shouldn't have been fighting. Right.
Now,
Well, no.
now I want you to take a different perspective of BJ as a jiu-jitsu athlete, right? Like his run years ago in 80 cc's and championships and everything he's done in his grappling, overrated or underappreciated?
Underappreciated, and it's not. I don't want to say it's his fault. It's just there's so many more jiu-jitsu athletes that take the spotlight.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't get enough credit for what
Right.
he did.
Marcelo Garcia takes the spotlight, right? All those guys, right? It just gets overshadowed,
Yeah.
right? They know BJ Penn as the fighter. They don't know BJ Penn as the grappler.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's
So long ago,
underappreciated,
right? You know, he hasn't been active in the jiu-jitsu scene in forever.
Right.
The internet blew up recently. He posted a picture with Half Gracie in a gi, like him and Half in a gi together. Like I don't know if it's been 20 plus years since that's
Jeez.
happened, but you know, BJ started with Half, you know, many years ago, or you know, definitely spent some time with him. But yeah, it's wild to think about, you know, all this time later in 2025, BJ Penn and Half Gracie are in gis in the same room. So
Jeez.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. But
The gi's making a comeback.
yeah, man, the gi's always been there, man. This no gi little run is gonna die out soon, and all these gi competitors are gonna start popping up. Watch. But you know, it's been fun talking to you, man, getting to know you a little bit more. Do you want to do one more overrated, underappreciated?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, this one's not really overrated, underappreciated, but it's an over or under. Do you think Gordon Ryan's going to ever come back?
No,
How come?
I think he's proven what he needed to prove to everybody, and I think he's accomplished what he set out to accomplish for himself. Right, and I don't think he needs to do anything else.
Yeah.
He's on top of the mountain, and nobody took him off that mountain. So why does he need to come back? I mean, I could see him maybe doing a special match in the future. Somebody paid him a lot of money, or something, or the case can be. But there's nothing left for him to prove.
Yeah.
I don't think. And again, he's a let it break it guy.
Yeah.
Right? You saw what happened with when Nicky Rod toe hold him, and then
Yep.
there's other matches where somebody actually broke it down on a reel where his knee got hurt and he still competed.
Yeah.
Like, Gordon's not going to quit until he gets his submission, right? So it's just one of those things where I don't think he needs to prove anything. He's getting up there. I think he's pushing 30.
Yeah.
Right at that point, it's like, what else I need to do?
Yeah. And he's so successful. He's got
Right.
the money. He's got the cars. He's just,
I think he's going to focus more on either opening his own academy or building up the
Kingsway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or building up the next generation of grapplers. I think he's going to shift into what John Danaher was for him.
Yeah. It'd be tight. That's what I, kind of like the master putting it into the student, and then he becomes it,
Right.
That's like the whole martial arts journey, right?
Right.
Nah, but Andre, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you so far, man. And I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this. It's truly been an honor for me to talk to you. And I just always like to give our guests a few minutes to just shout anybody out, just to say what's up to all your boys. But take a few minutes. The floor is yours.
Well, thanks for having me. We tried to set this up a long time ago. It just never worked out. It finally happened. So, of course, I have to firstly shout out my girlfriend. I love you. She does a lot for me behind the scenes, right? Making sure the hotel's good if we're traveling, making sure I'm ready for competition. So a lot of stuff off the mat. And of course, my sponsor, YJS. Thank you guys for always taking care of me, the YJS family. Love you guys. My coaches, right? My main coach, Chris Jones over at Charles Gracie Fremont. My teammates out there. And then my other coaches, Coach Rob and Coach Cristiano at Psycho and Campbell. Check them out. So they make sure I'm ready for competition. They offer a little bit different things and what I need to work. And then, of course, I can't forget about Chris Vickers. What can I say about this guy? Awesome guy. Always there to coach me. Always hit me up after matches. And his whole team, I'm Hunting Monsters. They always make sure I'm good, too, as well.
Yeah, Chris Vickers is an awesome guy. Actually, as you guys are listening to this, his grand opening is this weekend. So check it out. Dreams and Jiu-Jitsu in the Antioch area.
May 18th, 11 a.m.
Yeah, get out there. Go show him some love and support, man. He's been an awesome guy in this jiu-jitsu scene around here. And he's truly got something special going on. So shout out to Chris Vickers. Also, shout out to Backwoods BJJ Retreat. They're holding a retreat in June, and they're going to be doing that for veterans for free. So they're getting some sponsorships and things like that together. If people want to donate or be involved, it's an all veterans retreat. So it's going to be amazing. I think the instructors coming out are going to be veterans as well. Some pretty big names going to be out there. So check out Backwoods BJJ Retreat on Instagram. Go give them some love. If you're a veteran, really, go check it out. We posted their stuff on our page. We love them. They're great friends of the show. Rob is doing amazing things for our veterans. And they also have an all-women's retreat coming up, too. So if any of the ladies out there want to get involved, go check that out. Be a part of the jiu-jitsu movement here in NorCal, man. We got something special going on. Again, Andre, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor having you on, man. We appreciate you. We wish you luck in your future competitions and nothing but support. Check out Grapplers Talk each and every week on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Go give us some support, like, subscribe, share the show. It goes a long ways, but other than that, this has been another amazing episode. This is Dave, and we are out.
This is Grapplers Talk.